Joining us now is Casey Chlebek, who's running in Illinois to become a senator. Casey, I appreciate you coming on tonight. So before we really get into this topic and how important the Senate is, can you introduce yourself to our viewers a little bit and tell us why you're running?
I'm running for the Senate of the United States because, first of all, I was born in a socialist Poland. So I have experienced all the horrors and nightmares of the socialist system, and I can educate and help American voters with their decision at this very critical juncture where we are actually facing existential threat possibly to our ideology in these elections. And also, I have a very comprehensive program to improve our situation in Illinois, to create special economic zones for the country and for the state in particular, for advanced technologies, and also would like to make sure that we are re-educating our youngsters in schools regarding pro-life education. And also, at the same time, I'd like to tell people that, yes, I am a pro-President Trump, lifelong Republican.
And, you know, you talk about the dangers posed by socialism, and you talk about your home country of Poland as well. And Poland is kind of going through something a little bit similar as the U.S. It's kind of this idea of more of a right-wing kind of populist type of movement that's kind of countering maybe some of those socialistic movements across the world right now. And we see that playing out here in the United States. We see the rise of Bernie Sanders, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, more far-left progressive type of candidates. And then on the other side, you have people like President Trump, who are obviously very popular figures in their own right. So can you tell us a little bit about what that kind of divide means in the U.S. and why you think that the more right-wing approach is more popular?
I believe that what is being offered right now is actually a flavor of cultural Marxism. And this is the ideology we have to fight, because that ideology has this disdain for everything that is normally expected of a human being. That's a disdain not just for our own values, a disdain for religion, a disdain for our way of life, disdain for even the color of skin. So we have to stop it in its tracks. Okay? So this is where it comes to. We have to take a step back and use our trusted methods, trusted approaches to the governance, and if we need to do anything, maybe to tweak it. But definitely, we don't want to experiment with socialism because it ends badly. And I was myself a witness to it, being in Poland, where I saw a degrading situation that developed over several years, to the point where it went through almost agony.
And, you know, we've heard Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell kind of say the same type of thing, that he calls himself the grim reaper of the socialistic agenda, meaning he doesn't take up bills from the House that may be more progressive, more left-leaning. He doesn't even take those up in the Senate. We've seen how important it is for Republicans to have the Senate, especially when they have the presidency, but even without it, you can't get judges through. You can't get key pieces of legislation passed, whether it be the GOP tax cuts, the Obamacare skinny repeal, the Kavanaugh confirmation. None of those things would happen if it wasn't for GOP control in the Senate. So can you talk about what type of senator you would like to be, what agenda you would push if you were to go to the upper chamber?
I would definitely be every step of the way with President Trump. And yes, if you mentioned the Supreme Court judges, that's very critical, because the Supreme Court defines modus operandi of our nations for decades sometimes. And we'll probably have an opportunity to appoint 2 new judges during the next term of President Trump's presidency. I would like to make sure that we do not take a step back, that we are doing everything in our, shall we say, in our potentials to make sure that we retain total control of the Senate, that we prevail. And I would like to also tell you this, that yes, it is maybe a difficult task, but Dick Durbin can be unseated. I actually, on my website, showed all the dozen of different things that he failed for. And he failed miserably. To start with, enormous debt that we created here in Illinois. There are a lot of things that can be done. Improve the taxing situation, stopping the exodus from Illinois. We can do quite a bit to make sure that we will keep the seat for Illinois and to have it in Republican hands.
No, and it's going to be a big race there. You mentioned Dick Durbin. He's been very much so a Trump critic throughout his entire career. He's been one of the leading voices in that. You could go back to some of the Senate hearings. You could look up his clips. I mean, he's very vocal about that. But for all our viewers who want to learn more about Casey and his campaign, too, you can go to CaseyForSenate.com. Casey, stay healthy out there. I look forward to how you do tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining us.